Do what thou wilt, show me the whole of the law. I've been asked why I've posted secrets of the OTO on the internet. And this video is a reply to that question. One of the reasons I left the OTO is because of the nature of the secrets and the fact that I didn't really think they were secret. Or that the secrets that were being communicated were not the true secrets. The lessons I learned from each of my initiations, I thought, changed after each initiation. The oaths were different after each initiation, and I was always under the assumption that unless an oath was repeated in each degree, that if you took another oath which negated the previous one, that meant that the previous oaths were no longer valid, and that you went on to a different level of esoteric secretness. There are certain things in the first, second, third Minerval that are the same, but there are some that are different, and there are some that are antagonistic. It's one thing to go to your initiation and be murdered. It's something entirely different to go to initiation as an initiator or initiating team and be the murderers. I always felt that the secrets that were communicated to me during my initiation were false secrets, that the true secrets hinted to in the third are incommunicable. And I think this is the kernel of this question on as to posting signs and grips and words and things like that on the internet. I mean, the Freemason stuff. I mean, you could pick up a copy of Duncan's and figure it out. It's not that hard. And the occult interpretations of all those symbols. Oh, I'm sorry, I was never an occultist. As an ex-British naval cadet, my specialty was navigation, so when it came to astrology, I was absolutely confounded by it, and I've always thought that the stars have been used for only three things: knowing when to plant the crops, navigation at sea when there's no other thing to navigate by, and flim-flamming people, and astrology fits into the latter category. But I tolerated astrologers, and some of them are lifelong friends. But I don't subscribe to that philosophy one iota. I don't think the stars, or the patterns of stars, or the cycles of planets have anything to do with the cycles of men. At all. So when I go to an initiation and they start telling me that the secrets of this degree are this and that and belong to this particular myth or are this occult meaning, I blow it off. I always did. I said, yeah, what's the real secret? And my knowledge lectures, which I plan to put on YouTube, maybe, maybe not, we'll see. My knowledge lectures were completely different than the Order's knowledge lectures on each degree. The second degree, I was more concerned about security and people transporting swords and not sword fighting in the temple and just some really crazy stuff I've seen people do with their blades. But I was a naval officer. I carried a sword. I've been carrying a sword since I was in 13 years old in the 8th grade going to military school. I've always carried a sword. So it was no big deal for me. But for people who get their first sword, they go nuts. I've seen some crazy things with swords. And if you want to call the cops down on you, then there's nothing like carrying a sword in your trunk to the next OTO gathering and trying to explain it to the police officer. Screw the roaches in the ashtray. Explain the blade. Especially these big Conan blades that some people carry. At AC Oasis, we were always encouraged to get the Templar sword from a dead Freemason. So you go to a junk shop and look for a Freemason sword. I've always had mine. I love my Freemason sword. I carry it whenever I get dressed up in my garb. I never go without it. But there's some knowledge lectures as to how to conduct yourself in each degree. After my third and just about before I took my fourth, I was told that my knowledge lectures were absolutely wrong. Well, in that case, they're not so secret, and if they're totally wrong, then I could put them up here, couldn't I? I think one of the biggest secrets is remembering your oaths. Because the oaths, after you take them in the degree, you never get to see them again unless you go to another initiation or you become an initiator and get a charter so that you can read the script. Otherwise, most people forget their oaths and have absolutely no idea 10 minutes after the initiation what it was they swore to. So I used to publish my oaths in my knowledge lecture because I thought that that was, in fact, an important part of the degree, was fulfilling your oaths for the time in that degree. But again, I felt that when you took the next degree and you took another set of oaths, that those previous oaths were no longer valid, but I was told they were cumulative. And I was like, they can't be because they are paradoxical. And that they don't carry on from degree to degree. The idea of when you were a baby, you had certain rules. And then when you became a toddler, there were different rules. And when you became a youngster, there were different rules. And when you became a man, there's totally different rules from that from an adolescent. And now that I'm an old geezer, I've got a totally set of ethics that I had than when I was a naval officer. It's called growing up. Some things you take with you, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So, to me, the secret of the OTO, the only secret of the OTO, screw the grips, words, all that, that's just to get into the degree. That's not secret. What is secret, and what is incommunicable, and is only available through the Caliphate, believe it or not, is the experience, which is incommunicable. You have to go through it, you have to be initiated, you have to follow the course, and that is the secret, the true secret. Everything else, it's just fudge. Love is the law, love under will.